Hello and welcome to History 1302. This is the second half U.S. History Survey course. This course covers everything from 1865 to, well, it says the present day, right? For those of you who took my first half 1301 in summer one, welcome back. This is the second half of 1302. For those who are coming here for the first time, welcome, right? Like I said, this course, I'm going to kind of go over the syllabus here in this introduction to the course and just kind of go over it briefly here. This course is a survey course that looks at the social, political, economic, cultural, and intellectual history of the United States from the end of the Civil War, the post-Civil War period, all the way through, as the syllabus says, to the modern day. Now, we're not going to get to the modern day. Every year it gets 1 year harder to get to the modern day. Typically in face-to-face classes, I only get to Watergate, Richard Nixon, things like that. My plan here is we're going to go through Ronald Reagan's administration, right? The end of the Reagan administration, 14 different topics, and that's pretty much where we'll have the cutoff for it, okay? Now, again, like I said, I'm just going to go through the syllabus here in this introduction. There's no prerequisites for this course, of course, but there is a required book. The required book is Alan Brinkley's The Unfinished Nation, A Concise History of the American People, 9th edition. I do want to say this, when you buy this book, you need to make sure you buy it either from McGraw-Hill directly or through the NCTC bookstore. Okay. If you do not do that, then you will not be given the access code to the NCTC specific material, which you have to have in order to access the chapter quizzes. The chapter quizzes, as the topics are assigned, there's going to be chapters, sometimes even more than one, assigned to that topic, and you're responsible for taking the chapter quiz for that topic. Okay? If you don't have that code, you can't do that quiz, and you literally cannot access 15% of your grade. So it's really important that you have that code. If you've already taken 1301, if you already bought this Unfinished Nation 9th edition before and you've got an access code, use that one. It's still good. The access code for 1301 is good for 1302. That code's good for 2 years if I understand correctly. All right. Now, pretty much everything you need to know is in the syllabus, and if it's not, make sure that you ask me, right? But a lot of things are covered here, and I'm just going to kind of go through here. Instructor name, you see my name's in there, so you can actually get the spelling right. Most common error is to leave the S off my last name, which is always kind of funny. It has my office location, room 107 on the Flower Mound campus. That's a place that I haven't got to see in a while, and I kind of miss it. My little cubicle away from home, but instead we're, here. And that telephone number that's provided is that phone that's sitting on the desk that I can't get to in that place that I kind of miss. Okay. So obviously that telephone number is probably not a very good way to get in contact with me. The email address is. You can contact me through the email address, or you can contact me by, using the inbox in Canvas. That if you send me a message through Canvas, through the course, it actually forwards to my email and I get it. Okay. My office hours, because this is fully online this second half summer, I just put on there available almost any time by appointment. If you need to actually have a face-to-face conversation with me, if it's something that we can't take care of through email communications, just let me know. We'll set up a time and a date, and we'll have a Zoom call. We'll get on a Zoom conference, and we will discuss whatever it is that you're struggling with, right? The idea is for you to be successful in this class. So we'll just, if you need to have that interaction, then we can definitely do that. But you need to set it up through me, okay? Student learning outcomes, create an argument through the use of historical evidence. That's one of the things that the essay will measure. Analyze and interpret primary and secondary sources. That's also the essay, and the test will measure that. And very importantly, analyze the effects of historical, social, political, and economic and cultural and global forces on this period of United States history. I measure that a lot, right? I'm very much into how well you analyze and use this information, right? I'm not one of those historians that want to make you just memorize a whole bunch of dates. That's not useful. It's good if you're playing Trivial Pursuit, but that's about it, right? You got to be able to use this stuff. You got to be able to draw conclusions. You got to be able to, learn from it, right? So specific years and stuff like that, that's really not super important. I mean, think about it. I mean, it depends on whose calendar you're using, right? The Russian Revolution, that October Revolution, actually took place in November. Well, it took place in October on their calendar, but it was November on ours. So sequence of events is important, and significance of events is very important. So I'm very focused on that. All right, next on the syllabus, we have the grading criteria, the course elements. You're going to have a topic quiz each week that's based on the lecture topic. See, each lecture is going to be a YouTube playlist link that you link to, and you watch the series of lectures for that week. I break them up into no more than 15-minute long videos so that you can take breaks in between, stuff like that. So you're not faced with this daunting task of an hour-and-a-half video to watch for that particular topic. You can kind of break it out, and it's also easier to find it because it breaks it out kind of by topic too, right? So that's helpful. Okay, but at the end of each week, each Sunday, with the exception of the 5th week, which we'll have right before the midterm, I'll explain that in a second, or the final, which I'll explain in a second, you're going to have a topic quiz. It'll open on Friday. It'll be due that Sunday. Okay, they'll cover the assigned topics for that week. I'm not assigning a topic here in this 2-day week. We're going to begin that on the Monday. You'll have topics 1, 2, and 3, right? And then that Friday, you'll have a topic quiz open up that'll close that Sunday. And it's just 5 questions, short answers, like few sentences, typically. Sometimes even, depending on the question, maybe it's even just 1 or 2 words, depending on what the question is. And they're worth 20 points each, and there's 100 total points in your grade. The next assignment, and this is the one that you have that's coming due this Sunday, is researching primary and secondary sources. There's going to be a link to a separate video that kind of explains how to do that assignment, right? But that's the one that's due. That's the only thing you need to worry about in this short week, is that make sure you have that researching primary and secondary source assignment done by this Sunday. Those of you that have done it before, you know what to do. Those of you that have not had my class before and haven't done this before, watch the video. It explains it. It's pretty straightforward, okay? The following week, you'll have the essay due, right? The essay assignment, I'll have a separate video link for that. The midterm will be the Sunday after that, right? That's 5 short answer questions. You get the questions 1 week in advance, so you have a whole week to formulate and type up your answers, which you then will upload, and there'll be a template, and again, there'll be a video for that, right? It explains how to do that. Then you got your movie review after the midterm, in which the first week after the midterm, you're going to be just doing a Chicago-style citation of your movie review, of the movie you selected. It has to be any U.S. history movie or U.S. historically based movie from 1865 to the present day, right? And then the movie review itself will be due the following week, right? Your chapter quizzes for the assigned topic chapters, the book chapters, those are open now and will be open the entire semester. Unlike the topic quizzes, which are open Fridays and close on Sundays, the chapter quizzes are open the entire semester. Make sure you keep up on those. The last thing you want to do is the night before it closes, for you to suddenly say, oh, I got to go do 15 chapter quizzes now. That's usually not a good plan. Okay. And then the final exam is the same format as the midterm. You get the questions a week in advance. And the final is going to come due on a Wednesday, not a Thursday. All right, so scrolling further down, you can see there's the actual due dates. You have every due date. And you see the very first one there. Researching primary and secondary sources are due on the 19th of July. I know the topic quizzes, it says every Sunday. All right, and the only exception is as your last topic quiz will actually be due Wednesday, the same day as the final. Okay, but that first one, 19 July, this Sunday. Okay, a week later on the 26th of July, you'll have your essay due. A week after that, on August 2nd, you get, for my birthday gift is going to be you turning in your midterms to me. Yay, me. A week after that, the citation review, August 9th. Movie review itself, August 16th. Those chapter quizzes are all due the same day as the final, Wednesday, August 19th. And the final exam was due Wednesday, 19th. I know the semester actually ends on Thursday, but I discovered something with this first half is that I had the final due on a Thursday, and then they said, oh, make sure you submit your grades by noon the following day. So I had 12 hours from the time that the finals closed to have every one of them graded and all final grades submitted. And I don't want to do that again because I need to sleep too, right? And so I'll do the final on Wednesday, which allows me to grade them Thursday and then submit them Friday, and so that also gives time for you to take a look and see your final score. And if you have some kind of thing like, please bump my grade a little, well, that gives you time to actually make that plea. Though I will say this, If you're within a tenth or two of the next letter, and I didn't give you a couple of tenths, there's probably a reason why I didn't. Because if I sit there and I see, like for example, an 89.5 rounds up to a 90, so that's an A. If you have an 89.3 and you're a couple tenths away, I'm going to look at it and go, why did this student not quite get there? And I might take a look. It's like, oh, okay, everything's turned in, did all the quizzes, did all the chapter quizzes, didn't skip any of those. Oh, let's see if we can't find a couple of tenths of a point, right? Okay. 5, 6 tenths is a little bit much, right? But a couple of tenths, yeah. And so if you're within a couple of tenths, if I can find reasons to bump that, you won't even notice because I will have already bumped you, right? So if you miss a letter grade by a couple of tenths, it's probably me going, but he didn't do a third of his chapter quizzes or something like that. And that's the reason why he didn't get there. So just something to think about, okay? Okay, there's the grading criteria. As you can see, it's a 1,000-point course. So your goal is 895 points because that is an 89.5%, and that rounds to a 90. Okay, so that's what your goal is. All right. And by the way, too, so if you're taking a look in Canvas and you're looking at the percentage, at the end of the day, focus on the total number of points because when the semester's over, I'm going to take a look at your total point value, and I'm going to move the decimal place over one spot. See, that's why I make it a 1,000-point course. It's easy. I don't have to math, right? I don't want to math anymore. I used to be an engineer, and I just don't want to math anymore. That's why I can use that word as a verb. All right, so late work policy. It's pretty simple. I don't take it. I don't take late work unless there's a really compelling reason for me to do so. And one of the reasons why is you have all the due dates right now. Plan accordingly. Plan for the unexpected, right? You know, don't sit there and wait till 11 o'clock at night to try and put the finishing touches on your essay, only to discover that, oh, well, this is when my internet gets knocked out, things like that. If something happens, of course, I understand sometimes things happen, but, I mean, make sure you have a plan in place, right? Because, like, say, for example, all of a sudden you can't get access to Canvas on Sunday night. Well, you better be emailing me that assignment then or something like that because you're going to have to make a really good case for me to take something that's late. Okay. That being said, I'm not a total monster. I mean, sometimes things happen. You know, your boyfriend got pregnant. Oh, okay, well, then, that's something to think about. That's a lot of things to think about. Attendance policy. Well, I mean, for this, it's pretty obvious. Watch the lectures. That is basically how you are attending this course. I can tell which students don't watch the lectures. I can see it in their answers, and it also reflects in their grades. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to go over and the stuff that I'm going to measure, I outline, I illustrate in the lectures. That, I mean, you'll see when you read the questions, like, oh yeah, I remember when he talked about that, right? And you'll know right what I was talking about, what I'm going for, what I'm looking for, right? If you don't do that, you're kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage. Now, as far as your last day attended, the way that they measure it here on all online classes at NCTC, and this is because this is state regulations, it's the last assignment you turned in. That's considered your last day of attendance, and that's what I'll do too. Face-to-face class, of course, this is different, but this isn't a face-to-face class. Okay. Last day to withdraw is August 5th. You should have a pretty good idea of where you're at in the class by that point. All right, that's 3 days after the midterm. I should have midterm grades already up by then. Disruptive students, classroom decorum, I don't think we need to worry about that part. Put your smartphones on silent. Do what you will. Like I said, this syllabus is designed to work on both the online and the non-online classes. So when I go through and look at it, some of it looks a little bit nonsensical because it is. Disability services. If you have any kind of accommodations that you need, make sure you coordinate it through the OSD office to get your accommodations set up. Now, as far as if you're in a case that you need a note taker, because you actually have access to the video lectures themselves, you know, that you'll have full access to them, that is the equivalent of a note taker. That was told to me by Wayne Smith himself, right? I asked him about it. He says, yeah, that's technically the note taker because they can always go back and review, which makes me glad that I still break these lectures down into little bite-sized pieces so that, again, hour and a half. Man, imagine writing your notes out all in one paragraph, an hour and a half worth of stuff. I mean, it would be daunting. So, But at any rate, if you do get in accommodations to the OSD office, let me know, and let's figure out what tools you really need to be successful, because ultimately that's our goal, is for you to be successful in this class. Let's see the rest of this core curriculum foundations. This is all the administrative stuff. That's why there's little X's on there. Like apparently, teamwork is not a part of this. Our requirements for our core objectives. Critical thinking, yes. Teamwork, apparently not. Who knows? Student handbook, make sure you keep up on that. Academic dishonesty, pretty simple. Do your own work. Don't copy other people's stuff. Don't plagiarize. Don't do stuff like that. I'm probably going to catch you. I'm most likely going to catch you. I've read a lot of stuff. I've even caught students who have used hired services to write essays for them. I've caught them. Even found out which company they used, right? And honestly, if you get to the last minute and the assignment's due and you just realize, oh, you just screwed up, you're not going to get that in, rather than copy and paste something from the internet, which is going to get you in trouble, just make something up, right? That's a better thing for you to do than to risk getting a zero. Because, I mean, think about it. If you get to your essay and you copy a whole bunch of stuff from the internet, I catch you, you get a zero. We have to have a plagiarism conversation, stuff like that. How blatant is it? Do I need to kick that upstairs, which I prefer not to do if I don't have to, even though technically I'm supposed to, right? NCTC policies, I'm supposed to report that. But I like to take care of things in-house if I can. Or you make up a whole bunch of crap and just submit it to me. I look at it and go, oh my God, this is complete garbage. That was pretty darn funny. I give you 10 points because you made me laugh. You don't have the plagiarism conversation. I mean, I had a student one time that literally turned in a paper and said, I am totally unprepared. I didn't read. Here's a bunch of pictures of cats. And that's what I got. I got a bunch of pictures of cats from the student. And I gave him some points for it. I got some points for the cats, right? Because it was funny. It still failed the assignment. Hard fail, right? 10 points out of 150, but still, you know. Well, no, it was 11 points, but still. Out of 150, but still, you know, that's better than a zero and to deal with plagiarism. Just do your own work, right? In this online environment, you know, there is a lot of necessity for you to demonstrate your own ability to have integrity, right? Academic integrity. But it's very important that you do so, and make sure you do your own stuff. I've never had a student who's turned everything in on time and have taken the test fail one of my classes. They haven't necessarily done great, but if you turn everything in, odds are pretty darn good you're going to pass. I haven't had anybody fail yet who turned everything in. So, all right. So, last things here is contact information for my superiors, Crystal, the department chair, and the dean of instructions, Dr. Bruce King. Both great people, but in case you feel that you can't handle the problem through me, though I do ask that you come talk to me first. I'm pretty approachable. But if not, these are the people you go to. There's the chain of command. But what I'm hoping to see here is that we have a great 5 weeks, right? I'm going to very quickly dump a whole lot of information on you. It's going to be daunting, overwhelming. It could be worse. It could be a Maymester, and we would be doing all this in 13 days. So I'm literally going to rip everybody's head open, put a whole bunch of knowledge in there, put the cap back on, and we're going to shake it really good, and let's see what sticks, right? So you ready to do this? All right, good. So have fun. Let me know if you have any questions.